Sometimes on the path to becoming the best version of yourself, things may get a little uncomfortable. There may be some turbulence in that flight, even if you're on a Learjet 45 or whatever. So I was talking with a couple last night about what it's like to transition into a more positive lifestyle, making some mindset changes that push you forward, closer to your goals, closer to your potential, and how that can become uncomfortable for you because it makes others uncomfortable, okay? How many times have we accomplished something or gone for a goal and a friend of ours got jealous? Or a friend of ours got a little bit self-conscious about themselves. Because sometimes in our being the best version of ourselves, we indirectly serve as a mirror to those around us. Okay, those around us subconsciously compare themselves to what we're doing. Okay, we can't control what they think. All we can do is worry about our end of the deal, that we're being the best people we can be, and that we are gradually, day by day, realizing our potential and realizing just how great we are. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about that. One of the girls I was talking to expressed that as she's becoming more positive and seeing more positive changes in her life due to her mindset shift, she's noticing the negativity of those around her. To her, they're appearing more negative than normal. Now, while this could be true, from my experience, they're not any more negative than they were necessarily. You're just that girl's just now being sensitive, more sensitive to that. I know whenever I first became, more positive person, I would be very sensitive to Facebook posts, especially about politics. Just things people would say, people complaining about the weather, people complaining about blah, 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 blah. I was really sensitive to that, and I would just kind of like, that's interesting. But I wouldn't really let it in. But it's difficult at first, especially if, maybe it's family who's upset with you or a really close friend that's upset with you. That can really rattle your cage a little bit. But a mental image that I gave her that has worked for me in my experience is thinking of a space shuttle. Okay, so imagine that shuttle. It's got a huge gas tank underneath it and 2 boosters on the side. It's on the launch pad. There's a lot of anticipation because they've worked really hard to train for this mission. They've worked really hard to build this shuttle and to make sure everything is successful. It's a huge investment. And they're hoping, everything will synchronize, be in place, everything will go as planned so that shuttle can get to its destination, okay? So a huge goal can be accomplished. Then the shuttle takes off. A lot of power beneath it in order to propel it upward, okay? Once the shuttle gets to a certain point in the atmosphere, or a certain altitude, the boosters have to break off, okay? I don't know a whole lot about space exploration and all that, but my assumption is they've exhausted their supply of fuel or whatever and would just be added weight to the shuttle if they stayed on. So if the shuttle didn't release them, it might weigh it down and keep it from getting to its destination. Okay, the same thing happens for the huge fuel tank. The shuttle doesn't turn around and look at the boosters that are plunging toward the ocean. Okay, it doesn't look at the huge gas tank that fell behind. It keeps going forward. It's focused on the goal. If it looked back behind it, it might lose some of its momentum. Okay? It might delay the goal progress. Not to say that the boosters in the gas tank weren't important. Okay? They were totally necessary to get that shuttle from the ground up to the moon or wherever it's going. They played a vital role, and just like friends or people that are close to us that aren't making the transition with us, as we're transitioning through space and time, it's like they can't make that shift right here. They stop, okay? Can't make it, you keep going. Hope that makes sense. We should be thankful for the good times we had with them. We should always be thankful for our life experiences, even some of the bad ones, because they all play a role in who we are today and who we will become later. It all depends on what we do with it and how we look at it. So, they got you to a certain point, and now it's time for you to be you, no matter what other people think. Okay? You've got to unleash that potential in you. You've got to realize that greatness that you were born with, that we have this creative experience called life in which we can express that greatness. And we can gradually realize that greatness on a day-to-day basis. Okay? And that is evident in our actions and our thoughts, what we do for others, the big picture. And in you becoming the best version of yourself, I guarantee you will inspire and empower someone to do the same. And then what happens? They empower their friends, who empower their friends, who empowered their teacher at school, who empowered her students, who empowered their friends, who grew up to be parents and empowered their kids. That's how one person changes the world. By being all that they are and not being afraid to be all that they are. Sometimes you can't let people weigh you down as you're going through that transition. And that's hard, especially if they're close to you. Very, very hard. Be all that you are at whatever cost. Okay? If other people have a problem with that, that reflects back on them. Whenever we are out achieving things and working for things and having faith in our ability. Okay? Sometimes people that they sit there and think about themselves, oh, well, I don't have that. At least subconsciously, they start to resent us for our courage. Okay? Ignore that. It's going to be very hard, but ignore it. Be all that you are. And if someone has a problem with that, their loss. So, be strong. Believe in yourself. Realize and empower that which dwells within, and keep moving forward.